Hey, what's up guys? I'm Shane Peterson and this is Off the Rip. Today we're going to be talking about Detroit Supercross, so let's get into it. So the riders were wilding in Detroit. Starting off with Seth Hammaker crashing in practice. Straight gadoosh, y'all, yeah. Pierce Brown straight punks Joe Leaksville in the heat race. J Mark concussed himself in the whoops. Sad to see that guy go out that early. Then Cade Clayson goes freestyle motocross mode, X Games mode, baby. Front flips in the LCQ. And then at the start of the 250 class, just looks like a war zone. Riders are all laid out in the first corner. Jet Lawrence then violates his bar pad, but the rider who really violated his bike is Cameron McAdoo. He rode the whole main event with his nuts out, so he's no longer Cameron Crashadoo, he's Cameron Sackadoo. I'm thinking, was it a power move to show dominance in the 250 class? My guy gave the term tank slap a whole new context. Now thinking about it, those seat bounces were a little zesty though. When Mitch Payton told him, yo, I'm gonna need you to ride balls out, he took it serious. So he could have caught a case that night, so I'm not sure if he's allowed within 1,000 feet of a school or a Chuck E. Cheese, but.
Let your nuts drag, bud.
All right, so moving on to my fantasy picks in the 450 class. Oh, we say it every year, the start is more important, but the start is more important than ever. It's crazy, man. Whoever gets a start is gonna win, or they're gonna get on the podium or whatever. Unless you're my boy Cooper Webb, who had an awesome race, an awesome ride, honestly. And that's who I put for first. Looks super good in practice, and he does really well on beaded down and rutted tracks, especially in that East Coast dirt. He loves it. He always says he loves to go back to the East Coast. And then he also finds lines in the main event, like towards the end, and he just puts it together. He puts the track together, and that's how he catches his competitors. But you gotta admit, he was moving though. Like, he was moving. He came from 12th to 4th, which is gnarly, especially in this class. How stacked it is in the 450 class. He was going through some big names to get to the top, and he was blowing by these dudes like it was nothing. Like if they were just like, I don't know, like privateers or something. And it's pretty remarkable to see Cooper Webb riding this good. And that's why I put last week on the thumbnail, is this Cooper Webb's championship year? And I think it is. And I think he's gonna be the championship this year. I'm gonna call it right now. If he's not, I'm gonna feel dumb and I'm probably gonna edit this out. But I think it's his year, man. He's looking solid and he's consistent. A fun fact that I heard is that he's only led 1 lap this season and he is where he is in the points. So that just shows you this guy is consistent. Consistent. Sometimes it's not all about speed. It's about being consistent, and we're seeing that. But who I put for second, who's got the speed, who's the fastest guy in the class, is Jet Lawrence. I put him for second because he's a great technical rider. He was fastest in practice. I just thought Cooper Webb was gonna just have an edge on him because his starts have been pretty bad this past season. He spun off the gate and he just finds himself mid-pack. When a rider like Jet Lawrence is that good and that fast, and he can't get a win, shows you how stacked the class is. But he got the start, checked out, and it was over. But one thing I want to point out is that he sprints for like 12 laps. He was in the 44-second lap time range for 12 laps. None of his competitors were. He even turned 2 43s at one point. None of the guys in the field were able to do that. So that just shows how at the beginning of the race, he just hammers down, and it's gonna be hard to catch a guy who just checked out on you, and you're gonna be able to make up that time. Moving on to my 3rd place pick, Chase Sexton. Not as good as a rider in the ruts as Jet and Cooper, and he said it on the podium that he wasn't able to ride this good last year. And so I knew he had to get a podium because based on last week, he got a 5th. So he needed to get on the podium this race. And if a win wasn't there in his reach, a third place, second place was gonna be like a win to him. And he was able to do that. Fourth place, Tomac. I don't even got anything to say, man. I don't know what his deal was. I mean, he dropped back pretty far. Could have been the bike, but I mean, he seemed pretty solid in the first few laps. Maybe something happened, who knows? But sucks to see him go all the way down like that. Fifth place, I had Jason Anderson. He's just had mad speed the entire series. His finishes so far in the past 4 races was a 2nd, 12th, a 5th, and an 8th. So he's very well able to get a top 5. Seemed very reasonable for him. And you know, he gets pretty good starts, so it seemed like a safe bet. Well, it wasn't a safe bet. And I was wilding out. I wasn't even riding the track, but I was wilding off the track for my wild card pick. I put Vince Freeze, of all people. Vince Freeze didn't even race. And I don't know, man, I put it at the very last 3 minutes. I was just quickly like, oh no, I gotta do it. Dude, I should have checked who was riding. Super goon, bonehead move on me. I'm 14,000 something in my ranking. Next weekend, I gotta be like Tomac. I gotta come back and just get everything right. And I have the confidence to do so. Nah, I don't know, we'll see. All right, let's move on to the 250 class. All right, so moving on to the 250 class, we were able to see the East Coast guys finally. A lot of guys were excited, or fans were excited to see Hayden Deegan, Austin Faulkner. I don't feel like we were able to see who the guys are, who are going to be the championship contenders because of the Warzone battlefield that happened at the start of the race. But based on the heat racing and based on practice, I think those championship guys that I just think are going to be there is Deegan, McAdoo, and Faulkner. Hayden Deegan is like Jet in the 450 class. He's doing things on the track that other guys aren't doing, or he just does better. He's also very aggressive, charges, and he rides like a champion, or he rides like it's just championship year. And I mean that by, you know, whenever there's a rider in the 250 class, it just seems like you know that they're the guy and that they're gonna put themselves at the front. They have the confidence, they have the will to, I need to finish top 3 and above. And this kid has it, man. And I feel like the other competitors don't got what this kid has. And that's just that grind and grit to win. Like, I for sure can tell that Hayden Deegan wants to win more than anyone there in the 250 class, and it shows. And he tried to win his heat race from far back. You know, he charged to the very end at the finish line, and you know, we saw it in the main event too, with him going down early. His bars were just tweaked to the max. I feel like it's like, dude, there's no way you should be on a Supercross track with your bars like that. And he was able to just salvage a 16th and finish the race, which showed a lot of heart. Shows where his head's at, and he's gonna be a threat for the championship, and he's gonna be a contender. Not talking about the championship, but just some riders that I think are on the radar for a race win is Chance Hymas and Tom Bial. Hymas, 6th in qualifying, 4th in his heat race. He's fast. He trains with the Lawrence brothers. He has a season under him. So does Tom Bial. He has a season under him as well. And those guys are just, you know, really fast. So I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if they get a race win this season. Pierce Brown, though, did not expect him to do as well as he did in practice with 1st in qualifying. And he's starting to ride to his potential. Max Anstey's another guy who can win a race. 2nd in qualifying, 5th in the heat race, 2nd in the main event. If he gets a start, he can win. I want to see Max win. Just seems like, that's funny. Sounds like that Drake meme. I need a Max win.
I need the Max win.
Mud races just kind of seem like it levels the playing field, but I don't want to see level. I want to see Max get it on the dry track. So that's it from Detroit. It was wild. The track was gnarly. I appreciate you guys watching. If you can, subscribe. If you haven't already, like this video, drop a comment, and I'll see you guys next week and talk about Glendale. Peace.